Hi there, my name's Marlene Helema from ImageMaven.com. Today I'm going to talk to you about gray cards. There are two different kinds of gray cards that you can use in photography. This large 18% gray card is for exposure or meter readings. And this card is a digital gray card and also called a white balance card, and it's for adjusting your white balance. So when you're using an exposure gray card, what you're doing is using it for metering. Now your camera has a built-in reflective meter, and when you point your camera's meter at a scene, when you're taking a picture, it bases the exposure or the amount of light it lets into the sensor or the film based on the brightness of the scene. Now there are certain things that can fool your meter, and one of them is snow. So in a situation like snow, you could use your exposure compensation, or you could meter off this gray card instead. So instead of pointing your camera at your scene or your model or whatever your subject is, you point your camera at the gray card and you make note of what the f-stops and shutter speed value that it gives you. Then you take the card away and you take your picture again with that meter reading that the card gave you. And then you'll have perfect exposure. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the white balance gray card. Now, the camera doesn't know the white balance of your picture. If you point your camera at a scene, it doesn't really know if you're shooting in daylight or tungsten lighting or if you're using your flash. Well, it does actually know if you're using your flash, most cameras anyway. But it doesn't really know the value of the color temperature. So this little card comes in handy for that. If you use this calibration tool as a reference in your photos, it's easy to color correct them after the fact in Photoshop, Photoshop Elements, Picnic. Any image editing program will have a custom white balance one-click button. So how do you use this? Well, take a photo with the card in the picture and then take the rest of your photos. When you get to your computer, download your photos. This is your reference photo. So you click on this, whether you're using curves or if you're shooting in RAW, you just click on it using the white balance tool. When you have that reading, then you apply that number or that white balance, that's a custom white balance, to the rest of your photos taken under the same color temperature. So whether it's in the sun, in the shade, whatever, that will be your custom white balance reading. And that's really handy to have. Now, it gives you neutral when you click this, and sometimes neutral is not really beautiful. So this is your starting point, and you can go warmer or cooler once you have a good starting point. So just to recap, we have a gray card for exposure and a gray card for white balance, and they aren't the same kind of cards. They both have different purposes. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and we'll see you next time.